While we were preparing for this program, I had a discussion with somebody, and the felt need is that our various media houses, particularly members of the PRINPAG, for us to set up specialized decks. For example, on cyber security, migration, terrorism, oil and gas, and online presence. The other issue is for us to look at the training of members, for example, organizing refresher courses for our members. One important issue that I feel I should mention is that of a bad trend that is happening in this country. It's going on now. Some people are labeled NDC journalists, MPP journalists, NDC newspapers, MPP newspapers, and I think that we should do away with that. It is not good. When we were supervising the elections, people were talking about this NDC journalist, this NDC. It is not good for this country. Let us nurture our democracy to grow for the common good, and do away with our partisan issues, because Ghana first. Ghana first. Finally, in all that we do, let us pay attention to the ethics of our profession and that of our moral values. And let us also build closer relations with GIBA, GJA, and in particular, the NMC. I think with these few remarks, I will ask the MC to continue with the program, so I will make it very brief.
UNESCO, we now see journalism as a public good. The specialities we apply to schools, hospitals, we should apply same to journalism, because it is the conveyor belt of information. It's a central processing of producing and disseminating viable news in a democracy. We are also aware that independent news media, especially print media, are facing a threat even before COVID-19 hit. Their revenue is in constant decline, and they are losing this to huge multinationals like Google and Facebook. So, Mr. Incoming President, print media has to innovate, has to adapt, and possibly start talking to these huge multinationals on the revenues they take from our country and how they could bring these revenues to the benefit of journalists and journalism in Ghana. UNESCO published the trends, the world trends in media freedoms, viability, gender equality, and safety of journalists. This report painted a bleak picture of the future of journalism because of declining revenues and the space taken by these huge multinationals. We also call on governments to assist by making sure and providing subsidies to print journalism especially, so that they could be able to withstand their declining revenues. So, the report called for a new form of self-regulation of sustainable development and securing human rights. UNESCO calls on government to ensure flow of funding from public sources to the media, including subsidies and advertising, are allocated fairly and overseen in an independent and transparent manner, and guaranteed investment in journalism and jobs while respecting gender equality and promoting decent working conditions. We think decent working conditions and investment in journalism training are the future, so that journalism can innovate in the face of declining revenues. Incoming executive, this is what is ahead of you, and We wish you all hands to be on deck by the new executive to make sure we'll be able to forestall this declining revenue of print journalism. Thank you.
I'll say that I'm extremely excited to be part of this August occasion for two reasons. One is the fact that as the GJ president, I'm a proud member of PRINPAG. As you may all be aware, I own two newspapers, that's the Daily Analyst and the Business Analyst. So it means that I have 2 votes. The second reason, Mr. Chairman, is the fact that all the PRINPAG executives elect are my good friends who have always expressed the desire to collaborate with the GJA in expanding the frontiers of journalism and media in the country. Before I proceed further, I want to commend PRINPAG for supporting the GJA to broker peace between the management of Europa and the Kumasi Traditional Council concerning the closure of the former radio station. PRINPAG has always been a major partner in terms of expanding the frontiers of freedom of speech and the protection of journalists. As you swear in your new executive, I believe this long-standing partnership will be deepened and cemented to ensure our watchdog role in the society. As the fourth estate of the realm, let's continue to hold public institutions accountable to the people while ensuring media responsibility in this country. The task ahead is very huge, especially with the introduction of social media and blogging. This means that we must be dynamic and move with the times. The GJ will collaborate with PRINPAG to train the capacity of journalists in the country to adapt to the changing phases of journalism and communication. This will ensure fact-based journalism, which will help the country's development. I wish to congratulate the new executives of PRINPAG on their new mandate, and I want to assure them that we at the GJA will collaborate with them to improve the welfare of journalists, which was also my major campaign promise. Interestingly, or coincidentally, the campaign message for PRINPAG President-elect also strikes on the welfare for the association members. This is a strong indication that we both have our eyes on the ball as far as the welfare of our members is concerned.
I thank the Almighty God for yet another opportunity to stand before this august audience to deliver this inaugural address in my capacity as the elected president of this great and dynamic association, the Private Newspaper Publishers Association of Ghana, PRINPAG for short. Mr. Chairman, let me begin my address by expressing gratitude to the Almighty God for His loving kindness to all of us and the association over the years, and also to the entire membership of PRINPAG for placing their confidence and trust in me once again to serve them as their president for yet another 3-year term. This is a responsibility that I do not take lightly, and I will endeavor to represent the association's best interests at all times with the support of the members of the executive committee and indeed the entire membership of the association. Mr. Chairman, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone, my family, friends, colleagues, and former executives of PRINPAG for their encouragement, criticisms, and guidance over the last 3 years that has seen us rebranding, transforming PRINPAG into yet another vibrant and strong media association that is poised to regain its previous position as a strong force to reckon with in Ghana's political governance. Mr. Chairman, We will all recall that I took over the leadership of the association in the year 2019 as the president, and today that administration has come to an end with a new set of members taking over the wheels of administration for the next 2 years, with me still as the master servant, the president. Mr. Chairman, among others, the immediate past administration achieved a lot for the association during its 3-year period in office, having served the association dutifully and to the best of our ability in a selfless manner, and as a result achieved some appreciable results collectively. Mr. Chairman, it was trite knowledge that the association did not have an office space at the time we took over in 2019. However, we solicited for funding support and managed to provide the current office premises, which accommodates the secretariat of the association. But beyond the renting of an office accommodation for the association, Mr. Chairman, we are looking at the bigger picture of the association owning its own office complex. And to ensure that this materializes, we are currently in talks with the Lands Commission, pleading with its officials to consider donating to us a bare land so that for the construction of our own office complex. Let me also add that leadership engaged in talks with the Embassy of Saudi Arabia that made a commitment to support us in this regard. And the current leadership will revive talks with the Saudi Arabia in this regard. Again, upon assumption of office of the immediate past leadership, we realized that the association did not have a constitution. And embarrassed by that development, we vowed to rally all the executives and members of the association to ensure that we give the association a befitting constitution. And I am happy to announce that that resolve has materialized, as the association now has a constitution that serves as its working document. Mr. Chairman, the past administration, with me as the president, also championed the building of a credible database, not only for newspaper publishers and online news portal owners, but also for all those who work with these media establishments. This we viewed as an important exercise for planning purposes and has gone a long way to enable the executive and the PRINPAG Secretariat to have a holistic, clear, and complete picture of all our members and their staff countrywide. With the development of this database, we are able to ensure that no media practitioner working with any PRINPAG member is left out of our training programs. And I am happy again to state that this database helped immensely in getting PRINPAG members and our staff actively involved in the recent COVID-19 training programs across the country. And same database was also used to select our members to participate in the media capacity enhancement training program held in Kumasi in January 2022. Mr. Chairman, as part of improving the capacity and knowledge base of our members, the past executive, of which I was the president, secured some training programs that were sponsored by the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Bank of Ghana, and Exim Bank, which went a long way to broaden the horizon of our members in the operational areas of those sponsoring institutions. Mr. Chairman, I am very passionate about training and capacity building of our members, and so long as I remain the president, it will be one of my priorities, in that it helps to educate us on the changing trends in the practice of our chosen profession, and also gives our news outlets credibility and new leases of life once we incorporate our acquired knowledge into our production. But going forward, Mr. Chairman, among others, our attention will be focused primarily on specialization, as the chairman indicated, which seems to be the new trend in modern day journalism practice. Mr. Chairman, as part of improving the business aspect of our various establishments, the past executives initiated discussions with the Chief Executive Officer of the Center of Awareness Global Peace Mission, who has agreed to sign an MOU with PRINPAG, which partnership arrangement is to benefit all members of PRINPAG without discrimination. The MOU to kickstart this all-important partnership will soon be signed by the two bodies, that is PRINPAG and the Center of Awareness Global Peace Mission. Mr. Chairman, plans are far advanced to intensify our engagement with the National Petroleum Authority, the National Lottery Authority, Cocoa Board, and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to consider involving the executives of PRINPAG in the placement of adverts in the various newspapers and online news portals. And the response has been very encouraging. I am expecting the new leadership to follow up on this initiative to seal the discussions to enable all members of the association benefit from advert placements, which we believe will give those institutions better value for their money instead of the current situation where only a few media houses benefit from sale. Mr. Chairman, I was overwhelmed by the massive endorsement I received from members at our election to continue to do more for the complete turnaround and development of our beloved association. And I want to assure them that we will not let them down. Mr. Chairman, during our first term in office, our focus was on putting in place the right structures to enable the association function effectively. But in this second term, we will focus on business development of our members, as well as securing scholarships and fellowship programs for them to help build their professional capacity and to also enhance their knowledge base. These are some of the things we intend doing for our members in the next 3 years of our administration, but much depends on us as members of PRINPAG and indeed of the Inky fraternity if we will succeed in all the fine ideas we intend to implement. Mr. Chairman, one of the things that inhibit efforts by the leadership of media associations is what I term as political journalism, journalism of emotions and vindictiveness that seem to be deep-seated in the practice of our chosen profession. Our overly partisan and emotional stance sometimes cloud our judgment to the extent that we do not see anything good about the opponent of the perceived political party we support to advance the cause of our members. And the earlier we decided to desist from these practices, the better it will be for us as members of Media Professional Association. We may decide to stick to our partisan ideologies, but we must distinguish them from the practice of our chosen profession and not allow them to affect the basic tenets and ethics of our profession. Again, Mr. Chairman, one of the problems that leads to the Ghanaian media dwindling in their influence and thus suffering patronage crisis is our reckless and unprofessional conduct, where we decide to ignore our ethics, and here we urge all our members to always endeavor to exhibit high professional duty and strict adherence to high journalistic standards of balance, fairness, and accuracy, among others. Another critical issue which is dealing a blow to the growth of the media in Ghana is the manner in which the media is being handled by the government and its media handlers. We do appreciate their efforts, but the plain truth today is that they are still handling the media using the age-old policies and strategies which are not workable in these contemporary times. And we urge them to have a paradigm shift and to engage more with the media associations to save the Ghanaian media from falling into an abyss. In recent times, Mr. Chairman, our media front has been characterized by attacks of all forms, antagonisms, and chaos that portend gloom for Ghana's freedom of speech and the development of the media. But it is important to indicate that anybody who feels strongly about the work of any media practitioner or institution should express his or her outrage by resorting to the laws laid down to deal with media excesses. It is said that a bad press is better than none at all. And as a human institution, the media are prone to errors and excesses. But when that happens, we should express our disapproval using the basic tenets of the rule of law to deal with the situation. But, Mr. Chairman, while urging the general public to play by the rules in terms of media excesses, it is also important for media practitioners themselves to be disciplined in their approach to the practice of journalism in this country. And I am happy to announce that the current executives of PRINPAG have vowed to deal with needless excesses of its members by referring complaints to its newly formed Complaint and Disciplinary Committee. And all members found culpable or guilty of such complaints will be dealt with ruthlessly by the leadership of the association, irrespective of individual members and media organizations involved. To conclude, Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the newly elected executives, I pledge to our members and the entire nation our resolve and readiness to serve the association in our various positions, accepting the challenges that come with them, and we promise never to let you down.
Not a day for long speeches. I think the main speech is by the new president who has just taken office. Though he's an old president, this is a new term. Mine is just to say just two quick things. First is to congratulate the new executive and to let you know that you take office at a time when there's a lot of expectation of you to put your industry and your group and your association on a high pedestal. And we all pray that you do also live up to that expectation. The second point that I would make is to encourage all of us who are here, most of us who are journalists, applying under different umbrellas of the industry, to keep up the good work and adherence to our ethics. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.